If I put metaphorically speaking, a gun to your head right now,
Okay.
and I told you that you had to build a profitable job board business by the end of this month, what is the very first thing you would do?
Um, Instinctively? Or what I actually should do?
Your gut reaction, like the thing your hands want to do before your brain catches up.
Right. Well, I think for 99% of people, especially if you have even a shred of technical ability or, design sense,
Yeah.
you open your laptop and you just start building the product.
You start coding.
Exactly. You're thinking about the database schema. You're worrying about whether you should use React or Vue or maybe a no-code tool like Bubble.
Right.
You're stressing over how the search filter toggles look on a mobile screen versus a desktop. You're just obsessed with building the house.
It's the builder's instinct. It feels productive.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
because you can see the code committing, you can see the pixels moving around on the screen. But here is the brutal reality that we are going to confront today in this deep dive.
Yeah.
And it might hurt a few feelings.
It definitely will.
If you build the house, they will not come.
They absolutely will not.
In fact, most job boards, and I mean the vast majority, the graveyard of failed startups here is enormous. They don't die because the code was buggy.
No.
They don't die because the design was ugly or the search filter was a millisecond too slow. They die because they are ghost towns.
That's exactly right. And it's because a job board isn't just a website.
Right.
That is the fundamental misconception we need to shatter right here at the top of the hour. A job board is a two-sided marketplace.
Yes.
It is a completely different beast than a blog or a standard e-commerce store where you just, sell T-shirts.
Where you just buy inventory and sell it.
Right. If you treat it like a regular website, just throw up some landing pages, run a few Google ads, and wait for people to show up, you will fail. 100% guaranteed.
That sets the stakes pretty high for us today. But luckily, we have a map. For this deep dive, we are pulling from a guide that is basically the Bible for avoiding that exact failure.
It really is.
It's called How to Market a Job Board, the 20-channel growth playbook by Kavuno. And I want to be super clear right up front. This isn't just for tech startups.
Not at all.
Whether you are trying to build a board for, say, travel nurses or specialized construction managers, nonprofit finance directors, creative arts, whatever your specific niche is, this is the strategic framework you need.
And the mission here is specific. We want to equip founders, so you listening right now, to break what we call the chicken and egg deadlock.
That paralysis.
Yes, that paralysis where you need jobs to get seekers to visit your site, but you need seekers to get employers to actually pay to post those jobs.
It's the classic catch-22. I mean, it kills more marketplaces than anything else.
It does. And the goal of our conversation today is to move you from building features, which feels productive but often isn't, to getting traction, which is the only thing that actually keeps the lights on.
So let's dive straight into part one of this playbook, the philosophy of this two-sided trap, because this is where most people get stuck before they even really start. Paint the picture for me. You launch a site, it's technically perfect, the code is beautiful, but it's empty.
Okay, so put yourself in the shoes of the user. A job seeker lands on your site. They type in, let's say, Python developer or crane operator.
Sure.
They hit enter. They see 0 results. What do?
They leave immediately.
They leave, and they never come back.
Yeah.
They mentally tag your site as broken or dead. Now look at the flip side of the marketplace. An employer lands on it. You ask them to pay $300 to post a job.
Right.
They look around. They see 0 traffic. They see no other active jobs posted. They realize nobody is home. They laugh and close the tab. You're stuck at 0. You have a product, but you have no market.
So how do we break this? Because you can't magically make both sides appear at the exact same time unless you have millions of dollars to burn on Super Bowl ads.
Which most of us don't.
Exactly. So what's the move?
Well, the source material is incredibly prescriptive here.
Yeah.
You cannot solve for both sides at once. You have to pick a winner. And the source argues unequivocally that you must solve for the job seekers first.
Why seekers first? Because my instinct is, wouldn't you want the money from the employers first? That seems like the business savvy move.
Yeah.
Cash flow. Right?
You would want the money, sure. But think about the leverage. You cannot manufacture demand.
Yeah.
Meaning you can't force an employer to pay you if you have no audience. You can't force them to care about your little website. But you can manufacture supply.
This is where we get into the tactic of backfilling.
Exactly. Backfilling, scraping, aggregating, whatever term you prefer to use. The strategy is to populate your board with job listings from other sources.
Like where?
Company career pages, other aggregators, ATS feeds. You do this before you have a single paying customer.
Is that? I feel like some listeners might think that sounds like stealing content. Is that allowed?
It's standard operating procedure for almost every major aggregator,
Yeah.
including Indeed and Google. Yes. You aren't claiming you're the employer. You're acting as a search engine. You link back to the original application source. But the point is, use tools to pull in jobs for your specific niche.
So let's say remote Python developers.
Right. So that when a job seeker lands on your site on day one, they don't see an empty desert. They see a full, active, vibrant board.
So you're essentially curating inventory that already exists elsewhere to make your store look full.
Yeah.
It's kind of like putting those cardboard cutouts in the stadium seats during the pandemic.
Better than that. It's like stocking the shelves of a new supermarket with goods you bought from a wholesaler, just so the first customer who walks in has something to actually buy. You're bootstrapping the value proposition.
Okay.
By filling the board with backfilled jobs, you start building an audience. You give the seekers a reason to stay, to sign up for email alerts, to bookmark the page.
And I assume this shifts the power dynamic when you finally do go out and talk to employers.
Completely. This is the magic shift.
All right.
Once you have that traffic, the conversation with employers fundamentally changes. You aren't cold calling them saying, hey, please post on my empty website. It'll be great one day. Trust me.
Which is a terrible sales pitch.
It's begging. It's basically asking for a donation.
Yeah.
But if you backfill, you are saying, hey, I have 5,000 monthly visitors who are specifically looking for Python jobs in the healthcare sector. Do you want access to them?
Wow.
That is no longer begging. That is a sales pitch with proof. You move from selling a promise to selling an asset.
That distinction is huge. It transforms the dynamic from help me out to here's a business opportunity for you. But getting to those 5,000 visitors takes a lot of work.
It does.
Which brings us to one of my favorite concepts from this deep dive, the 50% rule.
Oh, this is a tough one for product-focused founders to swallow. I know a lot of developers who hate hearing this. It physically pains them.
Lay it on us.
The rule is simple. You should spend 50% of your time on traction, meaning marketing, even while you are still building the product.
Wait, even at the very beginning, like when the site barely works, when the CSS is broken and the login button is wonky.
From day one, maybe even before day one, the playbook quotes Jeff Bezos here, and it's a brilliant analogy. He says, focus on what makes your beer taste better.
I love that quote, but explain it in this specific context.
Think about a brewery. For a brewery, making the beer taste better is the core value proposition. Everything else, the coaster design, the accounting software, the truck delivery route, is secondary.
Right.
Those things matter, but if the beer tastes like dishwater, you fail.
Yeah, nobody's coming back for bad beer just because the coasters are cool.
Exactly. For a job board, the taste of the beer isn't the code. It isn't how smooth your password reset flow is. It isn't your fancy Stripe integration. That is just heavy lifting. Table stakes.
Okay.
No user actually cares about your back-end architecture.
So what is the taste?
The taste is the network effect. It's the community. It's the fact that I can find a job here that I can't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Or that I found it faster.
Because you curated it better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're spending 90% of your time coding a custom search algorithm, but you have 0 users, you are effectively brewing beer that nobody's ever going to drink.
That's a sobering thought for anyone listening who just spent their weekend rewriting their database schema.
A mediocre board with great distribution beats a perfect board that nobody knows about. Every single time. If you aren't willing to spend half your time shouting from the rooftops about your board, you probably shouldn't start one.
That is a harsh reality check. Okay, so we know we need to market. We know we need to spend half our time on it. But how? We can't just do everything. No. This brings us to the Bullseye framework. Now, this originally comes from the book Traction by Gabriel Weinberg and Justin Mares, but our source today adapts it specifically for this two-sided marketplace model.
Right. The Bullseye framework is designed to stop you from doing what most failed founders do, the spray and pray method.
We've all been there. You write a blog post on Monday, you send a tweet on Tuesday, you try to run a Google ad on Wednesday, attend a local meetup on Thursday, and print some flyers on Friday.
And by Saturday, you're completely exhausted, and you have 0 results.
Yeah.
You spread your resources so thin that nothing reaches critical mass. You're basically digging 20 holes that are 1 foot deep instead of 1 hole that is 20 feet deep. The Bullseye framework forces focus. It has 4 steps.
Walk us through them.
First step is brainstorm. You look at all 20 possible channels, SEO, viral marketing, trade shows, everything, and you list at least one idea for each.
Even the ones that seem dumb.
Especially the ones that seem dumb.
Okay.
Don't dismiss anything yet. Maybe billboard advertising sounds stupid for a digital job board, but write it down. Just get it on paper.
Okay, brainstorm everything. Then what?
Then step 2 is rank. You put them into buckets. The inner circle, which are your top 3 promising ideas. Then potential and long shots.
And step 3.
Test. You run cheap, fast experiments on those top 3 from the inner circle. You aren't betting the farm here. You're just seeing if there's a pulse. Does the Facebook ad get clicks? Does the cold email get a reply? Does the SEO article get an impression?
You're just looking for a signal.
Exactly. And then step 4, which I think is the hardest part because it requires incredible discipline.
Focus.
Focus. The most important step. When you find one channel that works, you drop everything else. You stop the other experiments. You pour all your resources into that one channel to maximize it.
But here's the twist for job boards, right? Because we have 2 different customers. We have seekers and we have employers, so we can't just run one Bullseye.
That's the nuance of the marketplace. You have to run the Bullseye framework twice. But, and this connects back to our earlier point, not at the same time.
Sequentially.
Yes. Phase 1 is running Bullseye for seekers.
Yeah.
You find that one channel that brings in candidates. Maybe it's SEO. Maybe it's a specific highly engaged community on Reddit. You build that audience first.
And then phase 2.
Phase 2 is running Bullseye for employers to monetize that audience. You don't try to find a channel for employers until you have the seekers.
I think this is where people get tripped up. They hear multi-channel marketing and they think it means doing everything at once. But the most successful examples we have, like Remote OK by Peter Levels, they didn't do that.
No, absolutely not. Remote K is a classic example. Peter Levels is famous for being a one-man army. He didn't have a sales team. He didn't run trade show booths. He didn't do cold calling. He focused almost entirely on one single channel.
Which was SEO and programmatic pages.
Just one channel.
Just one?
He made that one channel work 100 times harder than his competitors. He built automated pages for remote marketing jobs, remote support jobs, remote crypto jobs. He completely dominated the search results.
The math really supports this approach. One channel working 10 times better is infinitely better than 5 channels working 1 time each.
Because of the compounding effects. If you master SEO, every new page you add increases the value of the previous pages because your overall domain authority goes up. If you master community, every new member adds value to the existing members. If you just dabble in 5 different things, you never hit that compounding curve. You just stay flat.
I want to pivot a bit to the economics of this. Because there is always that fear when you start. How can I possibly compete with Indeed or LinkedIn? They are the Goliath. They have billions of dollars. They run television commercials. They have armies of engineers.
It's definitely a David versus Goliath dynamic. But David actually has a massive advantage here.
Specificity.
Specificity. You should not try to be Indeed, but smaller. That is a losing value proposition. Indeed competes on scale. Their model is to aggregate every single job in the world and sell it as cheaply as possible. They race to the bottom on price.
Right. You can post on some of these general boards for $99 or sometimes even for free.
Exactly. But a niche board, let's say a board specifically for healthcare data scientists or green energy engineers, can charge $300, $500, even $600 per post.
That seems counterintuitive to some people. Why would an employer pay $500 to reach a smaller audience on your niche site when they could pay $99 to reach a huge audience on Indeed?
Because they aren't paying for reach. They are paying for access. Think about the hiring funnel. If I'm a hospital administrator looking for a data scientist, posting on Indeed gets me 500 resumes.
Which sounds good on paper.
It sounds great until you actually open them. 498 of them are completely unqualified. They're entry-level analysts or general IT people or people who didn't even read the job description and just spam applied.
So you have to pay a recruiter or spend hours of your own time sifting through all that trash.
Which costs money. Time is money. The upfront cost of the post is $100, but the cost of the process is thousands. But if I post on the specialized healthcare data science board, maybe I only get 10 applicants. But all 10 are qualified.
All 10 know the industry.
Exactly. I am happily paying that premium to filter out the noise. Your positioning to the employer isn't, we have more people. It's, we are the only place where you find this specific, hard-to-find candidate.
So you're really selling a shortcut. You're selling a filter.
You are selling a solution to a headache. The headache is too many bad applicants. The niche board is the aspirin.
And this framework applies to anything, right?
Yeah.
Construction, nonprofits, creative arts.
Absolutely anything. Think about construction. If you need a crane operator who is specifically certified for high-rise wind turbines, Indeed is going to give you generic laborers. A dedicated wind energy jobs board will give you the 5 guys in the country who can actually do it. That is worth paying for.
Let's get tactical, because the strategy changes depending on where you are in your business life cycle. The playbook breaks this down into launch, growth, and scale phases. Let's start at launch. You have 0 to 1,000 visitors. You're a nobody. What actually moves the needle here?
At this stage, you do things that don't scale. To use Paul Graham's famous advice, a tweet that sends 20 people to your site actually matters right now. If you have 10 visitors, 20 more is a 200% increase.
So you're really just scratching and clawing for those initial hits.
The key channels here are SEO, specifically getting your technical setup right so Google knows you even exist, and direct sales.
Yeah.
You have to hustle. You have to do cold outreach to validate that anyone is even willing to pay.
And community, right. Not building your own community yet, but going where they already are.
Yes. Go into the Slack groups, the Discords, the subreddits. But, and this is a crucial warning, do not spam.
Right.
If you walk into a community and just paste your link and say, check out my site, you will be banned. And honestly, you deserve to be banned.
John, nobody likes that guy.
You have to authentically share value. Say something like, hey, I saw someone asking about salary ranges for welders in Ohio. I actually just pulled some data on that from my site. Here it is. You give the data first. The link is secondary.
Okay, so you hustle your way to that first 1,000 visitors. You've scratched and clawed. Now you enter the growth phase. 1,000 to 10,000 visitors. The hustle doesn't scale anymore. You can't personally welcome every single visitor.
This is where you switch to compounding channels. Content marketing becomes huge here. And I don't mean generic, how to write a resume blog post. Everyone has written that. It's useless. I mean data-driven assets.
The source mentions Himalayas as a really great case study here. They are a remote job board.
Yes, Himalayas is fantastic at this. They built this massive library of content. One of their absolute killer tactics is salary guides.
Give me an example.
So they'll publish a page targeting nurse practitioner salary in Chicago or React developer salary in Berlin.
Why are those so effective?
Because they are search gold mines. People searching for that specific phrase have very high intent. They're either looking for a job or looking to hire someone. And once you write that guide, it brings in traffic month after month after month. It compounds.
And email marketing kicks in here too, in the growth phase.
Email is your owned asset. It's your insurance policy against Google deciding to change its algorithm overnight. Job alerts, those emails that say, hey, 5 new jobs match your criteria. They have incredibly high open rates,
Right.
like 25% or more. You want to capture those visitors and get them into your ecosystem.
Okay, so you've got the content machine running, the email list is growing, you finally hit 10,000 plus visitors. Now you are in the scale phase.
Now the game changes again. Small tweets don't matter. Now you need volume. This is where paid ads finally make sense.
Why not earlier? Why not run ads from day one?
Because paid ads are expensive. If you rely 100% on paid ads from day one, your cost to acquire a customer will likely destroy your profit margins. But at the scale phase, you have all this organic traffic. That free traffic from SEO and email lowers your blended cost of acquisition.
Ah, the organic subsidy.
Exactly. Let's do the math on it. If you spend $10 to get a user via ads, but you get 9 users for free via SEO, your average cost is $1 per user.
Because it blends together.
All right, now you can afford to compete. If you didn't have the SEO traffic, your cost is $10. You lose. This is also where big partnerships come into play, integrating with universities or large industry associations. Deals that bring in thousands of users at a single stroke.
I want to double click on the SEO piece, because the playbook goes into a fascinating amount of detail on something called programmatic SEO. This feels like a superpower for job boards specifically.
It is the absolute engine of the modern job board. Think about it. You cannot manually write a blog post for every single job opening. It's impossible. You'd need an army of writers. But people search for very specific things.
Right.
They search nursing jobs in Austin, welding jobs in Ohio, marketing jobs in startup.
The long tail of search.
The long tail. Programmatic SEO is about using code to auto-generate landing pages for every single one of those combinations. You take your database, say 50 job titles in 100 cities, and you multiply them. That's 5,000 landing pages created instantly.
And each of those pages is a perfectly targeted net for a searcher.
Correct. And because you are backfilling jobs, like we talked about earlier, those pages aren't empty. They have content. They've real value. If someone searches welding jobs in Toledo and you have a page dedicated to that exact phrase with 15 jobs on it, you win the click.
But there's a technical component here too, right? Google for jobs. It's not just about the web page. It's about that little widget that pops up at the top of Google search results.
The Google Job Pack. If you aren't in there, you are basically invisible. According to the source, something like 80% of millennials use Google to find jobs. The key here is schema. Structured data.
Break that down. What is schema?
Think of it like a label maker for Google. Your website has a job post. To a human reading it, it just looks like text. But Google's bot needs to know exactly what part is the title, what part is the salary, what part is the location. You wrap that data in code called JSON-LD. It tells Google directly, this is a salary, this is a location.
And there is a secret sauce mentioned in the source regarding this. Salary data. This is huge. Jobs that include salary data in the schema rank higher and get a 30% higher click-through rate.
30%. That is a massive difference.
It is, and it makes perfect sense. If you see two jobs side by side in the Google widget, and one says $120,000 to $140,000 and the other says nothing, which one are you clicking?
The money, every time. I'm not clicking the mystery box.
Google knows this, so they prioritize it in the rankings. Also, enabling direct apply, where the user can apply right on your site rather than getting bounced around to 5 different portals, is a major ranking factor.
Now, the playbook introduces something that I haven't seen in many other guys. We all know SEO, but what is AEO? Answer engine optimization.
This is the frontier. This is the 20th channel. Search is shifting right now. People aren't just typing keywords into Google anymore. They are asking direct questions to ChatGPT, to Perplexity, to Google's AI overviews.
Like, hey Siri, find me a high-paying remote marketing job. Exactly. Or asking ChatGPT, what is the average salary for a welder in Ohio? Or where can I find jobs for underwater welders? If you want to be the source of that answer, you have to optimize differently. You're optimizing for answers, not just clicks.
So how do you actually do that? How do you convince ChatGPT to cite your job board?
It's about structuring your content as Q&A, using FAQ page schema so the AI can easily extract the answer, creating content that directly answers conversational questions like who, what, and where.
Okay.
If an AI can read your site and immediately understand the average salary is $65,000, it will cite you. If that data is buried in a giant paragraph of fluff or hidden behind a login wall, it won't even see it.
That is going to be the battleground for the next few years, for sure.
Absolutely. Almost no job boards are preparing for this right now. They are still fighting the SEO war of 2015. If you start focusing on AEO today, you have a massive first-mover advantage.
Let's switch gears to the money. We've built the audience. We solved the seeker side. We have the traffic. Now we need to monetize the supply side, the employers. We touched on direct sales earlier, but how do you actually execute it? Because hustle is kind of a vague term.
It needs to be a sniper approach, not a shotgun approach.
Yeah.
You build a prospect list of companies that are already spending money.
How do you know who that is?
You go to Indeed, you go to LinkedIn, and you see who is actively paying for sponsored posts there.
Because you know they already have a budget.
They have budget and they have pain. They are paying for ads, which means they are desperate to hire. Your cold email strategy shouldn't just be, please buy a post. It should be data-led.
Give me an example of a bad email versus a good email.
Bad email. Hi, I launched a new job board for nurses. Prices are $200. Let me know if you want to post. Delete.
Brutal. But yeah, instant delete.
Good email. Hi, Sarah. I saw you're hiring for an ER nurse on Indeed. I run chicagonurses.com, and we have 5,000 nurses visiting every month, specifically looking for ER roles in Chicago. Indeed is great for reach, but if you want qualified local candidates, we can help. Company X just filled this exact same role in 3 weeks using us.
Wow. We have 5,000 monthly visitors in your niche. That's the hook.
Right. Or you use the case study email. Hey, Company X just hired a senior engineer in 3 weeks using our board. I see you're looking for the same role. Or the scarcity play. We are only onboarding 5 new featured employers this month.
It's professional. It's B2B sales. You aren't selling a job post. You're selling a solution to their hiring problem.
It is. And then there's another tactic. Engineering as marketing for employers. Building free tools.
Like what? A job description optimizer?
Exactly. Imagine a tool where an employer pastes their boring generic job description and your tool rewrites it using AI to be inclusive and exciting. They use it for free. But to download the result or at the end of the process, you say, hey, want to post this newly optimized job to 5,000 targeted candidates for $200.
That is so smart. You capture them at the exact moment of creation.
You're providing value before you ask for money. That builds trust instantly.
What about partnerships? The source mentions working with associations.
This is a sleeping giant. Every industry has an association, the National Association of Widget Makers. They have thousands of members who are your target employers, but usually terrible tech. Their website looks like it was built in 1998.
It usually was built in 1998.
Right. So you have the tech, you go to them and say, let's launch the official career center for the association. I run the board, you promote it to your members via your newsletter, and we split the revenue.
That's brilliant. You instantly inherit their authority and their entire audience.
And for them, it's non-dues revenue. It's free money. They don't have to lift a finger. It's a win-win.
Let's talk about paid channels again, but specifically how to use them without going broke. We mentioned the organic subsidy, but where do you actually spend the money when you're ready?
Search engine marketing, Sam, is usually the best place to start because of the high intent, but you have to be careful. Do not bid on generic terms like marketing jobs.
Why not?
You will be crushed by LinkedIn. And Indeed, they have infinitely deeper pockets than you.
So what do you bid on instead?
Niche queries, climate tech marketing jobs, remote nonprofit finance jobs. The search volume is lower, but the intent is higher, and the cost per click is much lower.
What about remarketing?
Remarketing is the highest ROI paid channel by far. This is targeting people who already visited your site but didn't actually apply for a job. Showing them an ad to come back costs pennies compared to finding a brand new person. It's just a gentle nudge. Hey, still looking for that nursing job.
What about social ads? How do you weigh LinkedIn versus Meta versus Reddit?
LinkedIn is expensive. It's great for targeting ahead of talent if you are trying to get a big employer contract on the B2B side. But for getting job seekers, it's usually too pricey. Meta, Facebook, and Instagram and Reddit are better for finding seekers.
But Reddit is tricky, right? Redditors historically hate ads.
They hate bad ads. They hate disingenuous corporate speak. But if you go into a Reddit community with a weekly roundup of the best remote jobs and it's genuinely useful, that works. It's about being a member of the community, not an intruder.
It's about authenticity.
Always.
Finally, let's talk about content and community nuances. The playbook makes an interesting point about viral loops. Job boards rarely go viral.
Nobody shares a homepage. Hey, check out this job board. Rarely happens in real life. It's boring. But specific jobs go viral all the time.
Like a job with a crazy high salary, or a 4-day work week.
Or a cool company. Or a weird job. Panda nanny. Professional sleeper. If you can identify those viral jobs, and salary transparency is a big trigger right now, and promote those, they act as a Trojan horse. People come for the cool job, they stay for the board.
And community. We talked about newsletters earlier.
Newsletter first is a highly legitimate strategy. You might not even need a website to start. Just start a weekly email list of the best jobs in your niche. Once you have 1,000 subscribers, then you build the site. You own the audience.
It protects you. Algorithms change. Google updates its logic. Twitter dies. But your email list is yours.
Precisely. And building a water cooler like a Slack or Discord community can work, but it is high effort. You have to actively moderate it. But if you pull it off, you become the center of gravity for that entire industry.
So bringing this all together, we've covered a lot of ground today, the philosophy, the framework, the channels. If we had to boil this down to a winning formula, what is it?
Focus. That is the one word. Pick one channel for seekers, master it. Then pick one channel for employers, master it. Do not try to spin 20 plates at once. You will drop them all.
And visualize that flywheel.
Organic traffic brings candidates. Candidates generate applications. Applications make employers happy. Happy employers pay you and post more jobs. More jobs attract more traffic.
It feeds itself. But you have to push really hard to get that first revolution.
You do. That first push is the hardest part.
I want to leave our listeners with the final thought from the source material that I found really provocative. We often think the hard part of a startup is the product. Like, if I can just build the software, I'm set.
But for a marketplace, the software is the easy part. Today, with no-code tools, you can build a job board in a weekend. The hard part is the market. The hard part is building the audience. If you are willing to spend 50% or more of your time on marketing, on shouting, on selling, you shouldn't start a job board.
The software is table stakes. The business is the audience.
Couldn't have said it better.
So, here's a final provocative thought for you to mull over. If AI answer engines like ChatGPT start answering job queries directly without sending traffic to your site, how do you capture the value of the transaction? That's the next frontier you need to prepare for. That's a wrap for this deep dive. Whether you're building for healthcare, construction, or the next big niche we haven't even thought of yet, get out there, stop coding for a minute, and start marketing. Thanks for listening.
Good luck.